Well, Arne, that must hurt you, scratching your head a little bit at how you've come away from that empty-handed in the end.
Yeah, although we were 2-0 down, of course, at a certain point. But good comeback, although it didn't feel to me that we deserved to be 2-0 down at the moment we were. But players reacted really well. We came back to 2-2. And I think then in the end it was a very open game where both teams had their chances. They probably even more than us, which doesn't come as a complete surprise to me, knowing that we've played 2 days ago at Marseille. And for the last 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games, we mainly have to play with the same players for the players we have available. And then sometimes a few of them could be, in the end of the game, a bit tired. And I think that's what you could see today in the end as well.
Yeah, I was going to ask, was it credit to Bournemouth's perseverance in the end, or are you finding you're looking at yourselves a little bit? It also looked like you were a bit frustrated with the officials at the final whistle.
I think first of all we have to look at ourselves, and in the end of the game it was more open. Both teams were trying to score a goal. They had better opportunities than us in the last 10 minutes, and then in the end there is a long throw in which led for them to a goal. For me, 4 minutes of added time was by far not enough, but in the end that didn't matter because they scored, although maybe we could have had then 2 or 3 minutes, but this game should not have had 4 minutes of extra time. There was one free kick that already took 2 or 3 minutes. There were VAR moments, there were substitutions. So that was what I said to them in extra time, that 4 minutes wasn't enough. But yeah, they scored in extra time.
OK, let's firstly react to that. Does he have a point? Should there have been more extra time, do you feel like?
Possibly, Bournemouth scored with the last kick of the game. Yes, Liverpool might have had another minute, 2 minutes to score a third, but overall, when he analyses the game, the last thing he'll be thinking is, we lost because there was not enough, injury time or added time.
No one could say they would have scored in it either.
Exactly.
Well, he just contradicted himself. He said the team were tired and he's complaining about them playing too many minutes.
Yeah, he wants more minutes. No, I get it. Listen, it's a little frustration. To be fair, when they put 4 minutes up, you said to me, wow, I thought it'd be more than that. So, he's got a little point, but that's not why Liverpool lost the game. They lost the game really in the first half, and their sloppy performance in the first half. They got back, did well to get back, but he's right. It was a very honest assessment, I thought, of the game.
It was, yeah.
And Tim said it himself. In the last 10 minutes, yes, it was open, but Bournemouth were the team having all the chances in that last 10 minutes. So just a frustrating night, having worked so hard to get back into the game.
We spoke about it with Hugo Ekitike and the potential that he felt like he needed to rest him. He kind of mentioned it there as well, didn't he, about the fact that they're having loads of games. He's probably having to rotate and not play the players that he wants to and be mindful of the schedule.
Is anyone ever listening to that? I'm sure the people around the world are not. We're talking about playing Bournemouth here, and we talked about the injury crisis, what they're in. Every Liverpool player on that bench would play in Bournemouth's first team. They're missing players also. I don't think people stop listening to you when you keep crying about injuries. It doesn't wear with certainly with the opposition fans and fans around the world. Maybe the Liverpool fans might give them a little bit of a break for it, but I certainly not. The Liverpool Football Club, you spent an absolute fortune in building your squad. Yes, you've picked up injuries, but everyone's got injuries at this time of the season, and no one wants to listen to excuses. You need to start picking up results, certainly in the Premier League, because if you don't finish in the Champions League spots, your position's under pressure. They're capable, this team is capable of winning the Champions League. And the way they're going in the Premier League, it might be easier to qualify for the Champions League next year by winning the competition, which will be a fantastic season. But at the moment, there's a lot of pressure on at the top of the division to finish in the Champions League spots, and Liverpool need to find some form from somewhere. Now, they might have to find form with the injuries as well. Just got to get on with it as a manager. Unfortunately, people stop listening to you. I've been there myself.
Yeah, we've just seen the table there, the fact that Liverpool are still in the Champions League spot, so we need to have some perspective. But if Manchester United get a result against Arsenal tomorrow, that could change. It's just 3 wins in their last 10 in the league. What does Arne Slot and Liverpool need to do now to kind of improve on that?
Well, the problem is when they look behind, they've got Chelsea, new manager. Who knows which way that's going to go, but if they catch fire, then they could put serious pressure on Liverpool. The team right behind them, Manchester United, if they continue playing like they did last game, they will put pressure on Liverpool because that was a brilliant performance. So, you know, all of a sudden, if they're probably looking at it thinking, who can pass us? You know, below that's Fulham. Fulham are not going to finish above us. That's probably what they're thinking.
Villa.
And now all of a sudden, there's a couple of teams around them that are in good form or potentially in good form. So it's a problem. Liverpool have still got it in them, still putting in some good performances, but they need to be more consistent. That's why they're not going to win the league this season.
Yeah, what a season Marcos Senesi has been having for Bournemouth, and a brilliant ball for Bournemouth's first goal. It feels like an age ago now. Let's actually focus on the goal that won it for them in the end. Michael, from a Liverpool point of view, the worst way to lose a game, but for Bournemouth, there's not really much better way to win one, is there?
No, and long throws have come back into fashion a little bit this season. You can see how much trouble they give you. It's not often you score direct from one, but if you don't win the first ball as a defensive team and the ball is bouncing around, then it can land anywhere. And of course, Virgil van Dijk will complain that he had a little bit of a shove, and he probably did. It's a little nudge, but I don't think it's a foul. And then after that, it's all a bit frantic, and obviously the ball lands to the wrong person from Liverpool's point of view. Stab into the far corner with the left foot, and all of a sudden, it's all over.
It is, and Andoni Iraola rightfully celebrating. It's been a tough time, as Marcos Senesi spoke about them, but as was also spoken about in the interview, that togetherness, they never gave up, did they?
No, we talked about it at the start. You know, they like last season they sold the whole of their back five. They've lost Semenyo, who's their best player. You never heard a peep out of that man. Just carries on, just gets on with it. Tavernier's injured. You know, Kluivert's injured. They've got a lot more out missing as well. They just crack on. They just play to their style. The man sets them out, well organised, and they believe that they can take on the big boys. They don't always get the results, but today they deserve that, and you saw it with, you know, that energy there. There's the push. There is. It's 100%. Listen, if you got ruled out, then you wouldn't be surprised. But Liverpool wouldn't want that to be ruled out if they were on the team what was scoring the goal. I think Alisson has to do better, I really do, on the first instant. But he sticks to it. He's had two bites at the cherry there, Adley, and everything went their way. You know, it's not even a clean strike. He just toes it over the top of, and Ekitike, I think, on the line, just can't get his knee up high enough to clear it. So it was their day today. It really was. I thought Liverpool fought their way back into it. Like I say, I believe that Bournemouth's worst spell of the game was when they went into the shell at 2-1. It was almost like they were trying to hold on to things, but they're at their best when they're playing on the front foot. And then as soon as it went 2-2 with a Szoboszlai, which was outstanding, they come again. And they took Liverpool by surprise because Liverpool were trying to win the game as well. It was great viewing for us. But I thought the most likely to score the winner was going to be Bournemouth. And that's exactly how it panned out.
Well, Virgil, having fought so hard to get back to 2-2, just how disappointing is it to come away with nothing in the end?
Very disappointed. Last minute of the game, very tough to take. But like you said, we worked very hard second half, especially to get back in the game. And obviously at times we were open as well, obviously on the counter, because we're trying to push for the winner. But to concede that late is very disappointing.
You look to be venting frustrations with the officials at the end there. What was being said?
Obviously, what I felt on that pitch was that was clearly blocked. But obviously, the ref and the VAR don't give it, and that's something we didn't have to accept. But in my opinion, I was blocked. But listen, I can stand here and say, should it not be given, but it is given, and it is what it is.
I suppose whilst there was a huge positive that you did manage to come back to 2-2, ultimately, I suppose you'll reflect that you gave yourselves too much to do at 2-0 down. How do you make sense of that 7 minutes where Bournemouth went 2 ahead?
Well, the first goal, I think it was a difficult ball to judge during the circumstances. The wind was very tricky. I think you saw it, especially when we played long balls on their side. And it was very difficult to judge. So to concede that one is obviously it's not an issue, but obviously it doesn't, because I think we controlled the game quite well before that. And then obviously when we were with 10 men, you can argue that you have to maybe kick the ball out or not. But to concede that 2 goals in short period is obviously not good at all. But I think the goal I scored before half-time was very important in terms of getting that momentum and the feeling for the second half back. And I think we showed the second half. We worked so hard to get back into the game with a great free kick. I think we had some good opportunities as well. But in the end, the throw-in that cost us.
You mentioned there perhaps the indecision as to whether or not Alisson should have kicked the ball out when Joe Gomez was injured.
It's not on Alisson. I think as a team, maybe. Well, obviously, after a game or after a moment like that, it's easy to say, "Oh, yeah, you should have done this or that." So,
where do you feel perhaps responsibility should lie? Is it from your manager? Is it as a team you should be communicating more amongst yourselves?
It is just a very split second. I think now it's easy to discuss this and say you should have done this and that, and I know that's what will happen. But we decided to keep the ball because we had the possession, and eventually they had it, and obviously a good ball from them in behind, and unfortunately for us, the goal we conceded.
Having got back into the game, so many of those teams directly below you trying to get a Champions League place play tomorrow. Does it feel like missed opportunity?
Losing never feels good, and especially as a Liverpool player. And I think this season we're trying to find consistency. We had a fantastic performance midweek, and we were trying to do that today as well. Very demanding game, of course, under the circumstances, the intensity that obviously Bournemouth bring anyway. So, yeah, it's a tough one to take. But Wednesday will be another game, and we go home now and focus on that one.
I suppose it's been a week, hasn't it, where the pendulum has swung so much with the disappointment after Burnley. You mentioned there the highs of Marseille and then disappointment here today. Is it testing you as a group, that sort of togetherness, keeping in the right direction?
Well, I don't think there's any question about our togetherness, but the consistency that we're looking for, that's something still need to be found, and that's the reality. I think there was a lot of praise of our performances and a lot of individual praises, and we know how it works. And 3 days later, you lose a game like we did today, and then the other side of the world comes out. So that's something we have to deal with. But we want to perform, we want to win games, and today it didn't happen, unfortunately.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So yeah, just confirming what we thought there, Michael. He felt like he was blocked, but he's quite reflective and he said they did well to get back into it and it wasn't given, so they've just got to move on from it.
Yeah, exactly. I think I'm not sure a block. Was there a little left arm shove or just almost a shoulder bargey shove? Listen, I want Liverpool to win the game. I'll find any reason to try to rule that one out. However, I have to agree with Tim. If that was the other way around, I'd be absolutely livid if a foul was given against Liverpool for that. Yeah. I don't think there's enough there to give a foul. And I think, of course, there's frustration and you will always look to a reason why it shouldn't have been given. And I think Liverpool are trying to do that. There was contact, there was a little shove. Was it enough? I don't think so. It was a frustrating game. And I think that Liverpool have got to blame themselves from the first half's point of view. To go 2-0 down and it's a mental thing with Liverpool. They've shown that they can do it. They've shown they can get back in the game. They've shown that they've got the energy and the skill and the appetite and everything else. Why would it take you sort of 46, 47 minutes to show any form of fight when you're 2-0 down? So that's the frustrating thing that I'll take out of this game.
Michael, it's very easy to manage the game in hindsight, but I was so surprised when Ekitike wasn't starting the game. I think he's been in good form, but not only that, I think he sets the press off for them. He gets to the defenders. They've got good players. Unless he can use that ball, it's like leaving a quarterback without no pressure on him. He can find a pass. That's exactly what he did for the first goal. He had a world of space out there. I am so surprised, not only for his attacking prowess, but the way he triggers the press Ekitike, that he wasn't starting. And like I say, it's very easy in hindsight to manage any. I've never lost a game in hindsight. But I would just say it was a massive surprise. And we said it before the game, that why is this boy not playing? It worked so well against Marseille with Mo Salah and Ekitike. And he leaves him out today for Gakpo. I was surprised, not only on the attacking side, but obviously what he gives them without the ball.
I think he's become so important now. And obviously he was coming back from injury. So he was injured, he came back, and then they played him a little bit too much, probably, in hindsight, and he had a hamstring injury. Then they've brought him back again. and he's played 80-odd minutes, 79 minutes, I think it was, against Marseille, they're probably thinking, start him again. I mean, I don't know what you'd do as a manager. Do you start him and just play him an hour? Do you manage his minutes in a certain way? Because he is that important. And obviously with Isak being out for the season, basically now, they're probably trying to wrap.
Well, the managers probably thought they could have won the game without him, because Cody Gakpo's at Bournemouth, he's wearing the armband, he's the captain of the side, he's the best player, he plays every single week. So there's still quality, and they should have won the game, irrespective of who the personnel was. But I just think, like I say, easy in hindsight, but I would have certainly... He's playing well at the moment. I would have talked to the player. Perhaps he would have said to the manager, which we don't know, I need a rest. If you need a rest and you're listening to the player and you don't overrule him...
Have you ever heard of any player go up?
Never. Never. I've had it before, yeah.
Someone's
not when I played.
I think I'd need a rest.
Yeah. And don't
Imagine
believe me.
Tim, what Tim would
believe
say
me, they got a long rest. Long one.
But the thing for Liverpool is they can't really afford to rest him because he's in such good form. And we saw the table before. Manchester United are just a point behind them now. In the race for Champions League football, Liverpool aren't having a good season.
No.
They can't afford to rest them for any game. Bournemouth away being another, they can't.
No, I make you right. I think Xabi Alonso is getting stretched off as we speak. He'll be stretching his hamstrings, he'll be ready for the hold on, this might be this, because this carries on. It cannot. I don't think Liverpool will sack. I don't think they sack managers who win the Premier League. I'm not saying they should, but the pressure's on this man now. It really is. I feel I've seen his interviews over the last month or so. He's been prickly, even though the results have been picked up. And he's dealt with the Mo Salah thing very, very well. Mo's come back now. He's put him in the side. He was very poor today. Let's have it right. Mo Salah was poor. If he was going to make a change, maybe Mo might have to come off the pitch. He's the manager. He makes him tough calls. He's made it today, and he's got it wrong, you'd have to say. And now the pressure's going to be mounting on him because there's someone on the market called Xabi Alonso who he's done brilliant in Germany. It didn't work out for him in Real Madrid because he couldn't manage downwards, because the prima donnas there at Real Madrid have got him the sack and he's out the door. Unfortunately for him, he wants to come back to Liverpool. If you offered him a job now in the whole world of football, he would say, I want to go to Liverpool Football Club. If the manager continues to struggle, then there might be a decision to be made. But I don't think it's going to happen this season.
Yeah, they have won in the FA Cup. They had a big win in the Champions League in midweek as well. But it is no league victory in 2026. We were discussing just as Bournemouth scored, was it going to be 5 draws in a row for Liverpool? No, it was 4 draws. And then, of course, now a defeat. It's not the start in the league that they needed, given the way that they ended 2025 too.
It's not at all. It's really difficult. I like Arne. I think he speaks well. I think to come in and win the league in the first season is incredible. I think this is how funny it is. I think if you'd said to every Liverpool fan, once Jurgen Klopp left, Arne Slot is going to come 4th in the league and win it in the next 2 seasons, whichever way round, everybody would have snapped your hands off. That would have been brilliant. After that long reign of Jurgen Klopp, how's it going to go? New players coming in. What's going to happen? You're going to win it one year and you're going to qualify for the Champions League the next. You would definitely take it. Now, that's probably what's going to happen. Yet, because he's done it that way round, won it, and now he's struggling, the question marks are there. Big result in midweek. They need to go through in the Champions League. Otherwise, it's a disastrous season. There's pressure on, yes, but I agree with Tim. It's not at fever pitch just yet.
Well, it's a difficult interview for Virgil van Dijk to give. Was struggling to kind of pinpoint exactly where things were going wrong. He did say, look, the referee sees it how he sees it. He gives what he gives and we have to accept it. But he did feel he was blocked for the winning goal for Bournemouth. Did either of you spot that?
Well, he was blocked. He was fouled, but he was fouled by his own player. That's the problem. Curtis Jones, Virgil van Dijk, you can just see him here. Virgil van Dijk, Bournemouth are starting to launch balls into the box with his long throw-in by Hill. Virgil's in a decent position there. He's got Unal there, and then Senesi is another player that's with Gravenberch. But as that ball then comes in, and it's an incredible throw, you can see he gets it to a long area there. Virgil goes to attack it. But I just want to just take it back because I'll show you, if I slow it up, as he goes to win that ball now, you can see there, number 17, Curtis Jones, he just trips over him. Watch Virgil's right foot as he goes to jump. There, he catches his own man, then can't get the header. Then it all becomes about Adley. He's brilliant. Look how alive he is here. Gets the first one in, then he gets the second one. He's the only one that's alive to this situation. You can see it there. He wins that first header. There's no right, he's not a big player. but he's got desire. Then he goes to the next one. Senesi does great. Obviously, it's a huge mess by Alisson there, and somehow he creeps that into the corner. Agonising for Liverpool, but for Bournemouth, pure players from Christie and everybody, they're running off. What a moment for them.
It was a huge moment for Bournemouth, particularly because they've come into this with one win in their last 14 in all competitions before this game. This is the kind of result that can really drive them on, isn't it?
It can certainly kickstart their form, you know, in terms of the belief that they showed from minute 0 to minute 94. This evening, I thought they had that belief, and I think if any team was going to go on and win this game, it was going to be Bournemouth. They had that chance earlier on. Evan Nielsen, you know, just sliced it wide beyond Alisson. That should have hit the back of the net, but they still believed they would get another one, and they got it. And that moment there, I think it epitomises the game. I think Hill had the opportunity to start launching the ball into the box off his long throw-ins, and I think the warning signs were there for Liverpool that something's coming. And then they end up getting their goal from a long throw-in, which was poor organisation from Liverpool's perspective. Van Dijk was the only player in Liverpool's back four who started the game who finished it. They had 3 other changes in the back line, which you could, you know, raise attention to. But the fact is, the long balls come in, they haven't dealt with it, and Bournemouth have got their reward.
Bournemouth got their reward. They take all 3 points. It's an important one in terms of the table, Jamie. They weren't in relegation danger, but maybe just having a look over their shoulder.
I'd say at this point, you're having a glance. Yeah. You're not necessarily looking, but you're just glancing. Yeah. And but I said it before the show. I just think this side has too much quality, too many good players. They've got a genius of a manager who I'm such a big fan of, and they've got players of real quality. And we're going to talk to one right now.